corresponds to reality. The mind knows what is. When we talk about ontological truth, what we're talking about is what exists, what is reality apart from ourselves. When we speak of logical truth, we're talking about our mind corresponding to that truth, that reality that exists outside of ourselves. Ontological truth is, again, what is apart from myself, and it's reality. I can experience what is. I can experience reality. The wall is there. My knowledge of the wall is what we're talking about when we're talking about the logical truth. My knowledge of it corresponding to what it actually is: size, dimension, firmness of the wall. The relativists would say, we may have different perceptions of the wall. Some skeptics may question whether the wall is even there or not, or those kinds of things. But we can't get away from what is. We can't get away from reality. When we come in contact with the wall, we can study it, we can know things about it, we can speak about it, and we can't, if we ignore it, we're going and try to run through it, we will come in contact with it head on, and it's not going to move.
I would say that truth is the collection of statements, the collection of accurate statements about I'm going to say the world, not necessarily meaning limited to Earth, but our universe, so on and so forth. Truth, in terms of mathematics, I think that you have these fundamental concepts, right? And then you have these things that you choose to define. Now, when you're talking about pure mathematics and we're talking about the theoretical, you can really define any set of base items you'd like, right? And certain statements will follow from those base premises, right? And so within a set of statements, I think truths are anything that is true within that framework.
Culture will say that the truth is relative, by which they mean what's true for you may not necessarily be true for me, and vice versa. Even in science, we have laws of the way that that nature works, the way that the world works. And so we, as Catholics, believe that we can know truth, that our minds can correspond to reality.
Properly stated, all truths are universal. However, to get to your question, could a truth be different for different people? If properly phrased, the answer is no. Okay, is this spinning clockwise or counterclockwise?
Counterclockwise.
No, it's spinning clockwise.
For you.
For me, right? And so are some statements relative to perspective? Yes. And so to say that this is spinning clockwise is not true. It's not properly contained. So you would have to say, from my perspective, it's spinning counterclockwise, or from my perspective, it's spinning clockwise, right? Probably some distinction between mathematics and science, in that science has this application that is inherent in the study. But mathematics, I think, fundamentally is a theoretical construct. And that being said, I think that there's a distinction between math and science. Regardless of how you do it, I would group philosophy more readily with mathematics than with science, because I largely think it's a theoretical construct, in that it's based more on logic than the result of testing.
St. Thomas taught that truth could be found anywhere. Catholics believe that the Church fully reveals God to us because it was founded by Jesus Christ. But Thomas also said that other denominations or religions could have parts of the truth, wherever truth is found. could find it in Aristotle, for example, an ancient Greek philosopher who was pagan. Thomas saw bits of the truth. He saw that Aristotle had insight into reality, insight into the nature of things, and so he felt free to use Aristotle, the truths that he found there. So he used what was good in Aristotle and rejected things that were incorrect. Ultimately, as Catholics, we believe that truth is a person. Jesus Christ said, "I am the way and the truth and the life." Jesus Christ fully reveals who God is to us, and he also reveals who we are in relationship to God and how to get back to God. And so when Jesus says he is the truth, he's telling us that he is the truth about ultimate reality. Our destiny is to be forever united to God in heaven. And Jesus shows us the way to get to the Father. He teaches us the truth about who we are in ourselves. We are children of God, and we're destined to be with God forever in heaven.
I will say about truth is I think that something can be true without being said or known. Does anyone know how many atoms are in that desk? No. But I still think that there is a true number, right? It's a truth. Just because we don't know it doesn't mean that it's not true, right? And so probably, many of these mathematical statements, they might be true. We may not know if they're true or not, or we may not have been able to prove them to be true. They may be based on assumptions. It doesn't mean that they couldn't be true.